Gamers, this is a book for you. Yes, I stole this intro from one of my favorite YouTubers, SkillUp, but the rest of the video will be wholly original. Gamers promise. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow is the newest book by author Gabrielle Zevin, which you might know from her most well-known novel, The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry. This book then was heavily praised amongst the gaming community upon release, as it's the first commercially successful book which prominently features game developers as its main characters. But no worries if you've never played more than The Sims in your life. This book could still be appealing to you. It's a bitter cold December morning when 20-something-year-old Sam exits a subway car and spots his childhood friend Sadie on the opposite side of the platform. Having first met more than a decade ago in a children's hospital whilst playing Super Mario Bros., they now plan to create their own video game. With the help of their friend Marks, they develop a game called Ichigo, which becomes a commercial super hit, making Sam, Sadie and Marks rich, famous and beloved by fans in return. This newly gained fame can't protect them from having feelings for and against each other along the way though. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow spans over the course of 30 years, from the East Coast to the West Coast, and tells a tale of love in all its shades, set against the backdrop of video game development. And it was this intriguing background that made me pick up the book in the first place. Having been a gamer all my life, this seemed like the perfect novel for me, only to realize that I personally didn't really vibe with it in the end. The aforementioned gaming subplot, for example, has two sides to it. On one side, author Gabrielle Zevin shows a good understanding of the medium and its biggest contestants. She's not shy of throwing around names of beloved video game series or characters. But on the other side, this pure name-dropping ultimately lacks the depth to go beyond the surface-level appreciation for the medium. Which is also why the book is still so suitable to read for non-gamers. Maybe that was her intention. Same is to be said though for the process of video game development itself, which lacks the depth and exploration of its intricacies that this underrepresented line of work would have deserved in 2022. Important topics like crunch are barely touched upon, and the book makes the whole process look too much tied to a single person's vision, in this case Sam's and Sadie's. But I still want to applaud the author for shining a spotlight on the process of game development to begin with. These negatives aside, Zevin is amazing at painting her characters, making them come alive and distinctly different from one another, creating love for some and despise for others in the reader. There are also chapters in the book in which she tries something new, which I don't want to spoil here of course, but even though these changes of perspective feel a bit forced, I again want to point out that she at least tries something unusual here. In the end though, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow had two glaring issues for me. Firstly, it has some lengths, especially in the middle section of the book. And secondly, it has a plot twist that I did not see coming, which is great, but which also felt like it didn't really fit the book's tone and vibe at all. This novel is surprisingly young adultish in the way it's written and constructed. Some people might love that, I didn't mind it as much, but the major plot twist felt forced upon the narrative to me in order to wrap up the story in a certain way. I've wished to love this book, for it to wow me, especially after all the praise it got in the video game industry. But ultimately I can give Tomorrow, Tomorrow and Tomorrow only 3 stars in the end. This makes me an outlier in the public opinion, so if you're still intrigued and want to give this one a go and make up your own mind, I've put a link to it in the description below. For more book reviews like this one, have a look at this playlist. Thank you and see you next time. Ciao.